So the next story on the list is Wedding Vows, written by Melissa Flores and artwork done by Henry Pradasta. So I really enjoyed this story because the whole narrative of this story is jumping between all these different timelines as Tommy is narrating over it. So Tommy's trying to fight off this monster as he's on the way to his wedding, but as he's fighting this monster, you get all these flashbacks going to his life, like after Turbo, after Dino Thunder, and when JJ was born. But not only that, Melissa did say on Twitter that she got some insight from Catherine Sutherland, who plays Kat in Power Rangers, to sort of get some insight on where she thinks the character would be at. And one thing I really enjoyed about this issue is it dives into the relationship of Kat and Tommy post the series, because, you know, they get together, they get married, they have JJ, but in this story you see the build up towards their relationship, and as they eventually get together, they get married, and then you get a glimpse into the future of when they have JJ. So I really do like this issue as you sort of have Tommy narrating the battle with everything going on, where he says, for the longest time, all I've known to do is be a ranger. I've never known how to sort of like settle down and retire. And he does say in this issue, like, no matter who I face, no matter how many times I morph, one thing is never going to change, and that is going to be my love for you, Catherine. And I really enjoyed that moment as it ends on their wedding. But I want to talk about the flashbacks that we get in this issue, because like I said, this book or this story jumps between sort of like the past, the present, and the future. So the first flashback we get with Tommy and Kat is them sort of breaking up after Turbo, because Tommy's wearing the red, he's got the long hair, and they decide to break it off because they feel like a long distance relationship won't work, because you've got Kat, she's going to be studying in Australia, she's going to be working in Australia, and Tommy's going to be off doing his own thing. So they realize that having a long distance relationship won't really work between the two of them, as they're going to settle down and sort of live a normal life post Turbo. And then the next flashback we get is them sort of having this little reunion in Angel Grove, and Kat says, hey, I heard about your adventures in Reefside, which is really nice because this is post Dino Thunder. Now, small nitpick, when Tommy and Kat have that reunion post Dino Thunder, Tommy has long hair again, and if you've seen Dino Thunder, Tommy had short hair. So I don't know if that's an artist's mistake. I'm not too bent up about it, just something I noticed and got a little bit confusing. I know Tommy could have probably grown his hair out post then, but you do see Tommy like with the long hair throughout this story. So it is what it is. I'm not mad, I'm not seething, I'm not raging. Just something to point out that like Tommy has like long hair throughout the story. And then you have a moment where we flash forward into the story, and you have Tommy, and there's a baby JJ, he's a brand new parent, and he's still doing missions, he's helping out the team, he's helping out Adam, and Tommy has this line where he says, maybe it's time to put the morpher down and possibly retire. And Kat says, no, because you said you don't give up on the things that matter to you. And that's a really nice moment between the two of them, because, you know, they're very supportive, they're very helping of each other, and Kat gives them that sort of inspiration that, hey, this matters to you, your family matters to you, like, you're always going to be a ranger because it's like what you do, because it's something that's important to you. And like you said to me, you don't give up on the things that matter to you, that being a family man and that being a ranger, which was really nice to see. So after that, we eventually get to the present, where Tommy is fighting off the emoji monster, which was a really cool fight scene with all of this action as he's fighting off like the different emoji monsters in this issue, because he's using the Morphin Master, or the Master Morpher, which is a really nice touch because he's got the Master Morpher already, so he's jumping between all the different forms in this issue, but he's unable to fight off the emoji monster. And eventually Kat comes in like a badass with the wedding dress, and she's sort of packing the power blaster with her, saying, I knew this would come in handy, so she saves the day. And then after that, like, Tommy and Kat eventually get married. And one thing I do like about the wedding scene between the two of them is you sort of see all the different characters in the background throughout Power Rangers history, like standing at the altar beside Kat and Tommy is you've got Tommy's brother being one of the best mans, and Billy as well, it looks like, and then you've got Tanya and Aisha as well, which is really nice as well to see. but then you see all the different background characters as well with this, and it's hard to make out which characters are which, because you can see Jason, you can see Trini, you can see Zach in the background, but then it looks like Matt is there, but then behind Matt, it's hard to figure out what character that might be, so that one's hard to make out in the end. So it could be Cassie or it could be someone totally else, but I do wonder what character that is in the background. But it's really cool to see, like, you see all the different characters who are attending the wedding, which is really nice to see. So it ends on Kat and Tommy kissing as they say I love you, and then you find out that the story is called Wedding Vows. So this was a really nice story done by Melissa, because it sort of told the life of Tommy Oliver and led up to the wedding between the two characters. But not only that, you sort of get the inside of what their lives were like post Power Rangers, which was really nice to see. And one thing I really do like with the sort of like the storytelling of this of the story is each page jumps between like each timeline. So it starts off in like the present day, then it jumps to the past, and it jumps to Tommy fighting, and so forth, and then it builds up to the wedding. And I feel like that's really good for like narration wise, as it builds up sort of towards the climax of the two getting married. And I feel like this was a really good story, and I feel like Melissa did a really good job with it. So overall, fantastic story, and I definitely did enjoy it. So with that said, I'm going to bring this video to a close, and we'll jump into the next one.